What's up, CrossFitters? Coach Justin here. Here at CBG, we help you lose body fat, build muscle, crush your WODs without tracking macros. Today, I'm going to teach you more in the next 5 to 10 minutes about growing your glutes and creating a CrossFit bubble butt than you've learned in your entire lifetime. All right. And so to understand how we need to grow glutes, we have to understand how we grow any muscle. And so learning how to grow any muscle starts with the nutrition, the fitness, the type of exercises you're doing. So I'm going to break it down for you here. Now, in order to grow your glutes, we have to know how to build muscle in general, right? And there are 3 main rules when it comes to building muscle. Number 1 is something called progressive overload. Progressive overload is weight training and consistent improvement in your weight training over time. Think about when you go to the CrossFit gym and you have to scale a particular movement. Let's say in the beginning, to learn handstand push-ups, you have to start by doing push-ups. Then you can do pikes on a box. Then you eventually kick up on the wall and use an ab mat and so forth. You continue to progress over time. The same thing happens with muscle growth. It's kind of like leveling up in a video game. And so in order to grow your glutes, you have to continuously be challenging the muscle every 1 to 2 weeks. And to do this, this is called progressive overload. Now, a couple ways you can incorporate progressive overload into your training to help you level up so you can grow the glutes that you want and look more like you CrossFit. Number 1, you can increase the weight every single week. This is going to challenge the muscle more, and it's going to allow you to start growing your glutes better. Also, you can increase the total number of reps for the exercise you did the previous week. Another way to incorporate progressive overload is to increase the number of sets. So if you did 4 sets one week, you may do 5 or 6 sets of that same exercise for your glutes the following week. Another is to improve and increase your overall range of motion. Your range of motion is how deep you may go in a squat. Going deeper into your squat hits more of that particular muscle group and allows for it to grow more effectively. Also, you could increase your overall lifting frequency, meaning you may train glutes right now once per week, but in the next week, you may train glutes twice per week. That frequency is also considered progressive overload. Additionally, you can slow down your actual repetitions. This is known as slowing down your tempo. Now, the best way to incorporate tempo is to slow down the repetition in the eccentric portion of the movement. The eccentric portion is the lowering portion of the movement. And so in this case, in a squat, it's when you're lowering down into the bottom of that squat. Slowing that down allows for more muscle tear and therefore further muscle growth. And then lastly, you can also incorporate drop sets and supersets. Drop sets is where you go from one weight with the same exercise directly into a lower weight to fatigue, or supersets is where you hit glute maximus and then you go into an exercise that hits your glute medius, for example, coupling these exercises together back to back. So progressive overload is challenging your body so that it can continue to improve, continue to grow, and it's necessary to incorporate this into your weekly routine on a consistent basis. Doing a bunch of unweighted glute bridges and running is not going to get your glutes to actually grow long term. Okay, so that is number 1, progressive overload. Number 2 is you have to eat. You cannot eat salads and not eat enough foods and be at a calorie deficit and expect to grow any muscle, especially not the booty. Now, in order to understand what you need to be eating, we have to understand your activity level and what you're doing. And so what I do for the CrossFitters out there doing 4 to 5 WODs per week is we actually take your body weight and we multiply it by 14. This should give you somewhere around the total maintenance calories that you need in order to effectively keep your body weight the same. Now, if you're looking to be at a calorie surplus, and I mean a slight calorie surplus, an extra 250 to 300 calories, you can just up your calories from there. That is going to get you at that slight surplus that you need to give your body the nutrients that it needs to actually grow muscle. So this is super important. You cannot eat in a calorie deficit and expect to build muscle, especially not in your glutes. Eat your body weight times 14 and increase your calories by 200 to 300 in order to be at a slight surplus. Now, calories are just one part of the equation. What else do we need to do in order to incorporate the right types of calories, meaning the right macros, in order to actually see glute growth? The most important macronutrient is, you guessed it, protein. Protein is the most important macronutrient for CrossFitters in general, and it's the most important macronutrient for muscle growth, and that includes your glutes. And so if you want to incorporate more protein, you need to know how much the amount of protein needs to be in a single day and what the consistency of that looks like. And so the formula that we use here at CBG is to take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's going to give you your total grams of protein that you need. And so if you weigh 100 pounds, just as a simplified simplified example, you're gonna eat between 80 and 100 grams of protein every single day. This is gonna allow for proper recovery of the muscles that you tore during your workout so that the assimilated muscle mass and your muscle cells can grow larger, which gives the representation of bigger glutes. So that's number 2. You have to eat more, you have to not be afraid to eat, and you have to make sure that you're incorporating the right quantities of protein in order to repair muscle tissue. 3 is the exercise choice. So in order to grow your glutes, you can't simply train chest. You have to train your glutes. And there was Brett Contreras coined the term the rule of thirds, because there are 3 main muscle groups that our glutes are made up of, making them one of the biggest muscles in the body. The first is the glute max. Then you have the glute med, and then you have the glute min. These 3 different muscles require different exercises for you to fully hit those muscle groups so that you can grow the entirety of your glutes. So choosing the right exercise is super, super important. And so Brett Contreras coined this the rule of thirds because you have to hit your muscle group from a bunch of different planes. The first plane is the horizontal plane, and this is movements like hip thrusts that are gonna allow for you to hit and specifically target the glute maximus. This is gonna target this muscle group so that you're able to tear and repair so that you can grow your glutes. The other is the vertical plane. We have to train our glutes in the vertical plane. Now this, very commonly for CrossFitters, are movements we do pretty much every single week. Includes deadlift and includes the squat. So those I'm confident we have covered. Lastly, we need to also focus on the horizontal plane. The horizontal plane is the rotary plane at which we're actually doing banded abduction work and just work through the abductors in general. Hip abduction machine would also be another example. And so you need to consistently hit these 3 different muscle groups so that you're able to tear the muscle tissue effectively, repair it, and have it grow. So these are the 3 main tips that I have for you guys if you want to grow your CrossFit booty simply over the next 60 days. Progressive overload, increase the reps, increase the sets, increase your range of motion, increase your frequency per week, and also use drop sets and supersets. We need to be eating more. We cannot be at a calorie deficit and expect to gain muscle. We need to be at a calorie surplus. And then lastly, we need to use Brett Contreras' rule of thirds by training in different planes: the vertical plane, the horizontal plane, and the rotary plane. Hopefully this helped. If you want to look like you CrossFit, you got to keep growing that booty. So I hope this video provided some insight for you guys to help you lose body fat, build muscle, and crush your WODs. And if you want to learn how to reach these goals without tracking macros, go ahead and book a call using the link below this YouTube video so that we can see how we can help you actually feel accountable and start eating the right things at the right times to help you look like you CrossFit. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button so you can get more content like this in the future. I'll see you guys next week.